Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are currently on part 2 of the CELPIP reading section. All right, part 2 is, as you guys can see up here, reading to apply a diagram. Okay, so for this, personally, I find it as the easiest, just because for this one, usually it's looking for information on the left and applying it to the right. As long as you have a good understanding of the vocabulary and the meanings of these things, it's pretty easy. For me, I might have a more like sciencey math brain, so maybe it's just easier because it's like information based. So if you're into something more like reading or literature, maybe sections 1, 3, and 4 would be easier for you. But I personally love pictures, I love diagrams, I love things like that. So for me, this is always the easiest, or at least the most enjoyable for me. So let's go ahead and get into it. As always, we want to take a look at the instructions. So let's go ahead and read that. All right, it says, read the following email message about the diagram on the left. Complete the email. Okay, we know that we're completing an email by filling in the blanks and then select the best choice for each blank. Last time I already talked about the best choice, right? There might be a few different options here. For example, if you like pizza, ice cream, and chips, but your favorite food ever is chocolate cake. And the question asks, what do you think you're going to eat today? And the options are those 4, right? You do like pizza, you do like chips, you do like ice cream, but since your absolute favorite food is chocolate cake, you're going to choose that one. Okay, so it could be stuff like that, right? Where one seems like it could be right, but make sure you check all the options, basically is what this is saying. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we know it's an email. So the subject line is also very important. So I always love to highlight that. Okay, so we have a Seattle conference presentation. All right, the next thing we want to pay attention to, let me erase this quickly. There we go, because we have to scroll down. Okay, next thing that we want to pay attention to is who it's from and who it's to. We see that it is from Peter down here at the bottom and to Janice that we see at the top. Okay. And just for the sake of making it easier, I'm going to erase those boxes. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So it says, hi, Janice, you will find attached our presentation file. It's ready. I've also done some research on travel. Remember, the conference is a week away and we haven't decided how to get there yet. Here are our options. Okay, so boom, right there. That's a very important paragraph. You might be very tempted to just go immediately into question 1, but this has a ton of information, right? So first of all, we know the purpose. We know that they're trying to look at a presentation file that they're talking about that we see also mentioned in the subject head, and then also research on travel, okay? And the conference is a week away and they haven't decided how to get there yet, right? And so that's what they're trying to figure out. Okay, very important. So now we know the purpose of this email, right? Is all about how to get to the conference. Good to know, okay? So with that information, let's tackle number 1. Buses are the blank because the fleet is old and there are no stopovers. Okay, before we even look at the options, one thing I noticed here is we have some kind of negative words, right? So we have the fleet is old, right? So they're talking about buses being old and no stopovers, right? So we can already tell that there's a negative feeling about the buses. All right, so I'm just going to label this like negative. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at our options and that should make it easier. So if we see anything that's more positive or like buses are the best, right? No one's going to say buses are the best because they're old and terrible, right? No one says that. So let's go ahead and find out. Buses are we have most desirable, most flexible, least comfortable, or least effective. All right. I already see 2 ones that are positive here. Most desirable, that's not going to be it. You're not like, ooh, I really want old and terrible buses. And most flexible, also not correct, because we see that it's mentioning old and no stopovers. All right. We have least effective and least comfortable. All right. So the way I could say that is We could leave these two options and see where we go. But let's go ahead and keep reading here before we answer those two. Oh, sorry. Gave you an extra X. There we are. All right, so let's go ahead and read the next sentence to make sure. Because the fleet is old and there are no stopovers, the train seems more relaxed and we have plenty of time to get work done if needed. Okay, good. So the second thing we see is a sentence where they're comparing. Okay, so if you look here, it says the train seems more relaxed, right? The word more is used when you're comparing two things. So if they're saying that it's more relaxed, right? Being something that is relaxing refers to comfort. So we already know here that the correct answer is going to be comfortable rather than effective. Okay. So let me go ahead and mark those for you. So we know that these are incorrect because we're talking about bad things, right? And then we know that this one's not correct because we can tell that from the next sentence, we're talking about comfort. Okay, so there is your correct answer for number 1.